Texas, the latest to jump on the anti-Arizona bandwagon, saying it will not pay for employees to visit that state on business. In addition, Los Angeles, Boulder, Colorado, a school district outside of Chicago have all announced sanctions against Arizona because of its tough new anti-illegal alien law. Now come reports that the governor of Arizona is very worried about tourism. Joining us from Phoenix, J.D. Hayworth, who is running for the Senate against John McCain in a very hot race out there. Okay, so look, NBC News poll says 66% of Americans support the law in Arizona. However, the left is targeting the state, and they're trying to punish the state. There's no question about it. So how does the state of Arizona fight that?
Well, let's put it in perspective, first of all, Bill. Understand, you mentioned some cities with leftist city councils, some school districts, but understand, well over a dozen states are moving forward to pass legislation modeled on Arizona's. I think that's a good thing, and it's worth noting that Arizona's new law is really modeled on the Enforcement First Act that I wrote during my days in Congress. But more specifically, what does Arizona do to battle it? A couple of things. Number one, I think this summer you're going to see a boycott here. I think you're going to see Americans from across the country decide to visit the Grand Canyon, come to our desert, actually support Arizona. So I think you're going to see that. But the other thing I would suggest to Austin, Texas, and San Francisco and L.A., if they are so solicitous of the point of view of illegals, perhaps the illegals currently in residence here in Arizona should take up residence in San Francisco and
well, San
L.A.
Francisco would take them,
and Austin.
L.A. would probably take them too, because there is very, very big communities there. Okay, so you think that people in July and August are going to go down to the Arizona desert when it's 120 degrees in support of the Arizona law? I'm not so sure that's going to happen, J.D.
Now, Bill, to be fair, we've got some great deals down here, and on top of that, that's not all there is going on down here. As you know, we have the Grand Canyon.
Absolutely.
We have so many attractions in this state where it's a little cooler, not exactly triple digits, but really, in all sincerity, what the governor has done has been to take a look at this and really seek to establish a truth squad to get the real news. Well,
she's worried. Mrs. Brewer is worried because if this spreads, Arizona is a state that depends on tourism. And, you know, if it gets out of hand, the economy in Arizona is fragile, as you know. It could hurt.
Well, but again, Bill, and really the answer was brought forth when you set forth the premise. The fact is that overwhelming numbers of Americans support what has been done here in Arizona, and whether or not they visit, I think you're going to see Arizona move forward assertively with a type of truth squad, again, to point out the fallacies and the deliberate disinformation and distortion.
Though, Arizona's already won the war of public opinion, all right? You won. Because Americans understand that, look, here's a state where the federal government will not do its job. The state has 500,000 illegal aliens. It's bankrupt. Phoenix is the kidnapping capital of the United States. Crime is through the roof. Drugs are coming across the border all the time. So what do you expect Arizona to do? 66%, and that includes a lot of Hispanics and liberals, say, yeah, this law is okay. All it does is give the police, if they're engaged on another matter, you have to be engaged with the police on another matter, the right to question your citizenship. It's a logical law. So even if you get a truth squad out, the 34% of people who don't support you, you're not going to change their minds. It's an ideological play. You know that. It's the open border crowd.
Sure, but again, understand, I don't believe the open border crowd and the amnesty crowd are going to dictate and drive not only public opinion, but where dollars are going to be spent. I've heard from several groups that they intend on coming to Arizona. The first time I heard of it a couple of weeks ago when I had occasion to speak in California, people in Los Angeles and in that area actually said they were going to come into Arizona. They were going to engage in a boycott. We've seen evidence of it. I think we're going to see more of it during the summer.
It'd be interesting if Arizona would then capital. I don't think Governor Brewer would do this. I don't think she's as. I think she's more timid than you, J.D. But to be fair, Godzilla is more timid than you. I'll
take that as a compliment.
But wouldn't it be interesting if the state of Arizona's Chamber of Commerce started to market this and say, look, if you believe that we have the right to protect ourselves, please come here and show these pinheads that, you know, they're wrong and they're not going to punish us. That would be a hell of an advertising campaign, would it not?
I think it would be great, and look, we've started it already, free of charge. Arizona, a state where law and order prevails. Join us this summer for a great time.
Is your picture up there, you and McCain side by side, smiling?
Well, now that's another. Now, you know, this is the thing, Bill, and that you talk about an attraction. I've got it right here. We're making news tonight. Bill, we'll set you up as the moderator. You come to town. Let's have the debate, because it's been, gosh, now almost 75 days since I first invited Mr. McCain to sit down and debate. And think about it. Thus far, he has not accepted the invitation.
Wow.
So why don't you come on out? Let's go ahead and set it up in one of the big theaters, and maybe John McCain will finally engage in a debate.
All right, we'll think about that, J.D. I'd love to get back to Arizona. Thanks for coming on tonight.